So here we are, second Sunday, Transcendence Wellness Center. This Wellness Center is all about finding the root cause of suffering and walking with you through the dark to find yourself back into the light. So today's second Sunday is all about the new moon energy that's come in. On Wednesday we had this brand new moon, and if anyone has ever worked with me before, we know the power of the new moon as far as harnessing that energy to create anything that we want to manifest. But also we're kind of moving away from all this eclipse energy. Who felt the eclipse energy? Yeah, it was pretty intense. And luckily enough for us, we are going to be now moving into Mars in retrograde. Does anybody know Mars's personality?
The war planet.
Power. That I am going to get what I want. Mars is all about the power. But because we're all like children, it can become quite like a tantrum. It can become frustration, it can become anger, it can become, it's not fair. How many of you have said that in the last 2 weeks? It's not fair. Who in this room has been triggered in their self-confidence and insecurities in the last couple of weeks? Right? So this stirs all of this up for us. Right? These planetary alignments that are unfolding are stirring all of this stuff up within us so that we can look at it, so we can clear it. It's not to make your life hard. It's not to stop your beautiful manifestations. It's not to stop you from having all of your dreams. It's basically to lift up anything that's actually holding you back. Because if things don't surface, you're not aware of it. Until you get triggered, you don't even deal with your problems, do you? It's really, really, really easy to just put your head down and live life. So we have this beautiful co-creative agreement with the universe to kind of throw monkey wrenches in our plans as we are moving along. And the energy of these planets are in co-agreement with us to rise up with us as we're ascending. Now what we are doing right now as a planet is we are waking up. We know that. You can't go anywhere now, right? Anywhere without someone having a story, without someone feeling more at peace with the idea of meditation and yoga and clean eating. And within the whole planet, even, there is this, we don't want to fight anymore. We want to find solutions. And if you're watching the news, you could disagree with me. But if you're really tapped in and plugged in to what is going on the planet, you will see that we are winning, that you are winning. That look at who you were this time last year. And don't take score of where you have to be, but look at where you have come. Look at who you are today, sitting in this chair versus 1 year ago. How much more aware are you? How much more involved with yourself are you? Because until you really get involved with yourself again, you can't even know who you are and what you want. You can't even begin to fathom what your purpose on the planet is. So many light workers and volunteers come to me and say, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to be something. You're supposed to be who you came to be, which is unconditionally loving. That is your only purpose here. That is the thing that's going to bring you more joy than anything else. And joy is your soul signature. So 2016 has been a whirlwind, yes? Yes. 2016, the year of completion, the year of manifestation, and the year of full circle. Who in this room has experienced full circle moments in the last 3 months? Everyone. Full circle, which means the past is coming back to test us. Old issues are coming back. Old body stuff, old insecurities, old boyfriends, right? Girlfriends. But the point is you are re-manifesting the past. Why? Why now? Why now when we're so far ahead? Why? So you can see who you are now. So you can see who you are now in that old situation. So you can see that what used to bring you down into the depths of fear is now just frustrating. Now it's just like a gnat. Like, really? This again? So you can see how far you have come, because fear doesn't have you anymore, does it? If anything, now you're pissed. You're not scared anymore. We're moving out of survival issues. And I'm going to tell you what the next 3 months are going to look like is what it was downloaded to me and followed by lots of fetal position crying, was the soul's intervention. Your soul is about to take over your life. It's kind of like a mom and having tough love. When mom just kind of picks you up and says, okay, no more. No more of that. No more of that job cycle that you keep jumping into. No more of that relationship cycle that you keep going into. No more of this pain-inflicted self-abusing. No more. I'm pulling you out, and I'm going to sit you on the floor until you remember who you are. Who in this room is experiencing that? You can't go back, can you? No matter how hard you try to get back on that hamster wheel, because that feels safe, even though it's painful, your soul is not allowing you to do that anymore. It's a tough love month. It's the month of you asserting your power through your strong desires, and then your soul saying yes or no. Because the ego is on its way out. And we know that the ego will throw tantrums and sabotage at any opportunity to keep you little and stuck. Because that's where it feels safe. How many negative behaviors do you have that you won't give up because there's safety attached to it? That's what you're going to be letting go of. But first you're going to be letting go of the big stuff, because the big stuff gets your attention faster than the little stuff. Like the job that you're not going to be allowed to go back to. The relationship is not going to let you back in. The addiction that won't feel the same. As the soul begins to have this intervention with you, the method behind it is communication. Get in touch with yourself again. Have conversations with you. There's a lot going on there. There is so much information coming through you right now that if you're stuck in what is and circumstances and old fear patterns and old behaviors, you're going to miss it. And you're going to feel the resistance, and you're going to start feeling the messages in your body, because that's all pain ever is it's a message from your soul saying, you're not looking at me. You're not attending to me. I am the reason you're here. Because all of you are just a mere reflection of what I came to do. And what you came to do, I will be able to reflect that for you. Does that make sense? So as you begin to have this intervention, you will be pulled back into yourself. You will have to look in the mirror more. You will have to find love for yourself. And the way that you can find love for yourself is to realize that there's something bigger than you that you can't see that has got your back. That is watching out for you. And even if you're saying, it's not fair, there's a reason why your soul has created the situation that you are in right now for your grand lesson of learning about who you are. The new moon energy is all about creation. It's all about, who do you want to be now? Who do you choose to be now? What do you choose to create in this now? And then using that moon cycle, harnessing that electromagnetic energy from the planet to manifest your desire. And the only thing that is ever in the way of that is you. Ever. Your belief that you don't deserve it, your belief that you're not good enough, your belief that you got the wrong cards. Well, I promise you, you handpicked the cards that you live. You handpicked the body you're sitting in for a reason. Now, if one of the lessons that we came to learn as volunteers was self-love. We know how to give love, don't we? But do we know how to receive it for ourselves? So any of the insecurities on the planet were hand-chosen by you so that you could learn to love yourself in spite of. Did you know that? Do you know that's why you picked your shortcomings? Do you know that's why you picked your body issues? Because you wanted to see if you could learn how to love yourself even though. So the things that you look in the mirror and say, this isn't fair. Or you look at your dynamic and say, this isn't fair. Do you know you chose that? And your soul is now showing you why. Because it's not about being perfect. It's really about falling in love with the imperfections of you right now. That is the way that you're going to accelerate. Is to literally fall in love with every mistake you've ever made. Fall in love with the choices. Fall in love with the actions that you have taken. Fall in love with the shadow. Because the true process of alchemy is not about resistance. It's not about covering it up or changing that part of you so that you can appear beautiful or perfect. It is about diving down deep into it, looking in the mirror and saying, I chose you, and I choose me now. I choose me now in everything that I am and everything that I'm not. And I promise you, if you do that, the soul's intervention will start to feel like you are flying. Because you just have to let go of what you think you're not. And open yourself up to the more big, grand information that is trying to basically penetrate your entire existence. We teach a lot about epigenetics here at Transcendence. And basically, epigenetics is commanding your DNA. You have lineage of mastery in your DNA. You have power beyond measure in your DNA. And I'm not just talking about your bloodline, but your star line. You have blood DNA, you have star DNA, and you have access to the entire universe that runs right through your own body. You also have a lineage of suffering. You have a lineage of pain. You have a lineage of war and suffering that is so grand that it gets you very, very lost. And in epigenetics, we know that all that we have to do in order to activate the intense power that we have, or the intense suffering that we have, is to what? Make a choice. Make a choice that you're not going to suffer anymore, and then immediately you shift and start communicating to the lineage of your star line and your bloodline that is mastery, that is power. We're calling it the psychic inheritance. As we move out of ego, we will all be getting our inheritance of our psychic abilities back. They were never gone. They were dissociated from. We pushed them away because we didn't think we needed them in the family that we picked. Think about the family you picked. It probably would have been very detrimental had you come in with all of your abilities. You probably would be locked up in some hospital right now. So, in that case, we have chosen to separate ourselves from that aspect of ourselves. So if you have a desire inside of you that says, oh, I want to channel, or I want to be psychic, do you know that you are? Because you couldn't even have that desire if it wasn't part of you. Anything that you could ever desire is already within you. All you have to do is choose to get on the railroad track that is in alignment with the bigger part of you. And your soul's intervention is going to be picking you up and putting you back on. Picking you up and putting you back on to where you want to be. And you keep saying, no, I'm going to get over here because I'm right and you're wrong. And this isn't fair. Sounds like my kids. Sounds like me this weekend. So what I'm trying to tell you is that at some point you think you're in control. Your ego thinks it's in control. It's not. And you're going to keep hitting your head against the wall until you finally go, whoa, okay, I give up. I've been saying it at every second Sunday, let go. Let go or be dragged. Let go and have fun. This is supposed to be fun. This is why you came. You did not come here to suffer. You came here to show other people how to not suffer. So first you have to show yourself. I look at this energetic phase that we're in right now, collectively, as we're all learning to walk. And we had this great awakening, and now we're that 1-year-old that's stumbling around, and it's frustrating. But do we give up? Have you ever seen a baby, after about 6 months of trying to walk, go, nah, it's just not for me. I'm going to just crawl around. No. You don't give up, and you will never give up. You might fall down, you might take a break, but you will get back up and you will learn to walk in this new energy, and you will learn to walk side by side with higher self. You will integrate lower self right into the higher version of yourself, and you will complete the alchemy process. But if you keep choosing your old life, if you keep choosing who you used to be, then it's going to feel like you're never going to learn to walk. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to run. And sometimes it feels like there's not a lot of runners yet. It feels like there's a lot of crawlers and walkers. But if you're feeling like you really want to run, the best thing that you could do is put yourself in service right now and help others get fit with you. Because it can be very lonely, this journey. Especially when you're doing your work, you're doing your work, you're doing your work. And when I say doing your work, I don't mean doing someone else's journey. I mean diving in and saying, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep thinking this way? Who's in there? Right? Where are these voices coming from? Is that mom? Because I'm going to tell you a secret, and I don't know if you've ever heard this. Do you know that you are always channeling? 24/7. My question for you is, what are you channeling? Who are you channeling? Because the bigger part of you doesn't have personality. It doesn't have anything about it other than an expression and an experience that it wants to have. Because we're all one. So when we filter down into these spacesuits that we call human bodies, and we walk around, we adapt personalities and identification in order to have experiences. And we're channeling information and ideas and memories and observations through us 24/7. So you could be going along channeling your higher self. Oh, what a wonderful day. I'm so grateful. I love everyone. I'm creative. And then all of a sudden you get triggered and now you're channeling mom. Where'd she come from? Right? Now you're channeling dad. Now you're in the lower dimensions, which now the only access that you have is channeling your lower self. And the mind takes over, and the brain activates its problem-solving mechanism, and it says, we've got a problem to solve, because that's the only job the brain really has. Is solve the problem, keep you alive. Solve the problem, keep you alive. And it solves the problem by showing you memories of who you used to be. So if you're ever going to channel anything bigger than you, you basically have to stop being you. The you that is conditioned, lost, afraid, feels abandoned, feels limited, you're not going to be able to channel through that much longer, because it's basically going to get you nowhere. And that's where the frustration comes in. And you keep thinking, oh, why do I keep manifesting this, right? Because the lower self is showing you, this is who you used to be. What do you choose to change? The quantum DNA that is moving into your vibration right now is so much stronger than you've ever experienced. So the ego has a slick game that it likes to try to remove itself from the upgrade. Who in here has an iPhone and sometimes decides not to take their upgrade? Why? Because it messes everything up for a while. I don't know where my stuff is. Well, every time you choose not to take the upgrade, you recycle patterns of the past until you get so sick and tired of the old life that you finally say, okay, I'm going to take the upgrade and I'm going to learn what I'm supposed to do next. This is the time of the unknown. The soul has not experienced this type of transition this quick ever. Ever. So when it's happening this fast, we have this fear of change. Ego is so afraid of change because it knows who it is in the problem, and it's okay with that. It knows how to suffer. You know how to be abused. You know how to be denied and rejected. You know how to do that very well. And so law of attraction keeps giving you that until you say, you know what? I'm just going to completely put myself out into the unknown, and I'm going to see who I am. Because the only way that you will ever know who you are is to experience something new. You know who you've been, but you don't know the bigger version of you and how capable and unlimited you are. There is guidance around you that is constantly filling you with information of more of who you are. You've got a team that's around you constantly that's saying, I love you, you can do this. You can do this. And the reason why we're putting this issue in your life right now is because you're stronger now. You are stronger than you've ever been, and so you can handle this. The things that are going wrong right now in your life are not going wrong, they're going right. Every negative is a shortcut. It's the pass-through. It's the quick way out. And the only way out of it is through it. The only way to solve any problem in your entire life right now is to go sit down with your eyes closed and have a conversation with yourself. You need to move away from asking permission and advice from others, because you are filtering through their belief systems even if they're channeling it to you. Wouldn't you rather channel you? Wouldn't you rather find out who you are and what answers you have and what tools you have? I'm going to tell you, all you have to do is sit down, put some headphones on, and put on your favorite song. In 30 seconds, you will be completely aligned with the bigger version of yourself, and information is going to start flowing. Don't be scared. You're ready. You can handle what's coming. But the noise in your head is louder than anything that is the subtle grace of your soul can get through to you. And the only thing that links and completely integrates the left and right hemisphere of your brain is music, tone and sound, and color. So those two things will put you into alignment in 30 seconds, and you will fully be with you. You will fully be with the wholeness of who you are. And you will be able to have a conversation like you've never had before, because you have access to every part of yourself now. There is no one in this room that could give you better advice than you could give yourself with your favorite song. All of your messages and your guidance and your vibrational alignment is going to be in that song. Listen to that song over and over and over again in this new moon energy. Because basically what you want to create in this new moon is not $1 million. You don't want to create the dream job. You don't want the soulmate. What you want is you. You want to create this driving, unstoppable force that is you. Because I'm going to tell you, you know exactly what you want. You know exactly who you are. You're just not sure if the world is going to accept that or not. And you know what? Who cares? Because if everyone is a reflection of you, as soon as you accept yourself, everyone loves you for it. You become an inspiration. You become someone who says, wow, you really like yourself. And it's not ego, it's humble. And I think that's what we're all striving for. That's why you're in this bad relationship. That's why you're in this crappy job, so that you can say no. Because when everything is okay, you don't make changes. The red flags come and go because they don't really get your goat. It's only when something hits you really hard do you say, okay, I gotta change something. So as the soul starts to have this intervention with you, it's going to be like your whole world is going to get shaken up. Everything that you thought, your foundational belief systems, are going to be challenged. And the reason why they're going to be challenged is because there's that subtle voice inside of you that's saying, is this still true for you? Is this still true? Because at one point it was. Your entire reality reinforced your belief systems by proving to you over and over and over and over again that it was true. And because we are such visual creatures, we look at what is, we look at circumstances, and we buy into it. But we actually manufactured our circumstances from last month's thinking, the last new moon's energy. And then we brought it into being with our magnetic energy and electromagnetic force that makes up our existence on this planet. We brought everything in that's in right now in our lives. We have brought that to us. And we are going to bring it faster and faster and faster because we want to learn faster. Every single client that I have come in my office says, I want to go fast. I said, okay, take a breath. Because the faster you want to go, the more anchors you're going to pull up and more darkness you're going to throw to the surface so that you can heal it. Because all that we're dealing with right now is frequency and vibration, and you are either the master of your vibration or you are the victim of your vibration. Again, it comes down to choice. Last month, I talked about choice. It's all you have. You own choice and you own that body for a limited time. That's it. What do you choose? Because the soul is patient. Time and space don't exist. So as long as you want to run on this hamster wheel, the soul is fine with it. But it will keep picking you up as an intervention process and putting you back down on not a hamster wheel. It means you're standing for the first time going, oh my gosh, I'm not running. What am I supposed to be doing? Who am I? I need to find your hamster wheel immediately, even though I've been praying to get off of that thing. You go and look for the next wheel because that's all you know. And the soul will pick you up and put you back and say, just be. How about not doing anything right now? How about just sitting and examining your life and diving down into gratitude for the mistakes you've made, I did that this weekend. I sat with myself, and instead of going, oh, this, I said, what if I was just really, really grateful for every mistake that I've ever made because it brought me to this moment? And I realized that I chose all of those moments. I chose all of those mistakes because it was going to be a wake-up call. Every single thing that smacks you is a wake-up call. Stubbing your toe, be more aware. Pain in your back, I'm not feeling supported. Who are you not feeling supported by? You. It's no longer anyone else's fault. You actually have to become the mother and the father that you need. You have to become that for yourself because something that I've learned is no one is going to love you the way you can love you. Your spouse is never really going to understand what you're going through. They can complement your life in beautiful, amazing ways, but they will never understand your entire universe the way you do. Even if you're a master of communication, they're not going to understand exactly why you do the things that you do and feel the way that you feel. It's not their job. It's your job. So you need to become mom and dad. You need to become the spouse you seek. You need to become everything for yourself. And then what happens is you start to see how big you are. You start to see that the choices and the people that you've chosen to be around over the last umpteen years would not even make it in your life today because you would never settle to be treated those ways. But if you don't say, I let go and I'm okay about being afraid in the unknown for a little bit of time, this new moon energy is not going to do anything except bring you more of the past. And I think we're all done with it, aren't we? Who here is done with old patterns? I know I am. And in order for us to move ahead in life, we have to accept it. How about just accepting all of you right now? How about just saying, you know what? I am where I am, and if I'm right here, it must be perfect. It must be completely divine that I am standing right here and you are sitting right there, and everybody in the world that's listening to this right now, awkward, is having their now moment, okay? Because everything you hear and everything you don't hear is for a reason. We can only be the totality of what we believe. So if you're not going to question belief systems that you've got, then law of attraction is going to reinforce your belief systems until they keep smacking you and smacking you and smacking you and saying, okay, I just don't want to believe this anymore, because belief is the fabric of reality. And your entire reality, existence, and how people treat you is a reflection of how you see yourself on a subconscious and unconscious level. Consciously, you think you're pretty awesome. But there's aspects of you that don't agree with that. And they are a vibrational element of you, and they are a force that law of attraction responds to. So if law of attraction is responding to the bigness of you, then it is responding to the things you love about yourself and the things you do not love about yourself, and it's bringing you both. So if you're going through hell right now, keep going. Keep going and say, this is an awesome ride. Because I'm going to tell you, your life is just like a movie. Have you ever been to a movie where there wasn't a character who had a downtime that got his way out of it? Ever? Why is your life any different? You're literally living your movie. And you get to direct it and edit it and write it and create the next chapter as you go. And if you don't move into that pilot seat, then that life will recreate over and over and over again from that character's first vision. Those first 7 years will be recycled over and over and over again until you say, okay, that's not who I am anymore. I have no idea who I am yet, but I'm going to let go, and I'm going to be led. And I'm going to let go, and I'm going to know how to raise my vibration by how I feel. Because when I feel good, I am in alignment with higher self. And when I feel bad, I am believing a lie about myself. When I feel bad, I'm believing something about myself that higher self does not agree with. That's it. How simple. So if I choose to feel good about a bad situation, I win. If I choose to find gratitude in a jacked up story of my life, I win. And as I set my intention that is in alignment with higher self's intention, and I have gratitude for all of the challenges that I'm going through that are helping me grow and learn to walk in this new energy, this photon belt that's got wrapped around us right now is intense, and it's pulling every aspect of us. It's a big old light switch that's showing everything about us, and we're being triggered constantly. The triggers are important because they're showing you what you believe about yourself. Every time someone talks down to you, you're triggering a belief about someone not hearing you, or understanding you, or loving you. But for years, you have needed that from outside of you. And the soul is saying, no more. No one here is going to love you. You need to love you. And the way that I learned to love myself was actually falling in love with all of my mistakes. Falling in love with all the flaws on my body. Falling in love with all of the things about myself that I tried to hide. And then while that was percolating, right, and moving around, I dove into service. Because if I can have gratitude for the things that are going wrong, and I can dive into service, then I won't have to wait. Because in the quantum field, we know there is no time. We know that there is just thought, feeling, and action. I have a thought, I have a feeling, I'm going to take some action. That's it. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep moving. Because if I try to hold on to the edge and walk like a little baby, then everybody's going to go ahead of me, and I'm going to say, this isn't fair. It's time to let go. Time to love the ego that is within you. Stop making it your enemy, because as long as you are the enemy of you, you will never know the bigger parts of you. You will never really know what it feels like to be higher self, which is just Someone who is grateful for what is. Something horrible could be happening and higher self would say, this is awesome. And I know if you've ever come to me or Susie and said, I lost my job today, we're like, yeah! Woo! Best thing that's ever happened. Best day of your life. You're like, what? Seriously. Because it is. Those are the times that you wake up. Those bad dreams you've been having, I know, I can see them. They're messengers. If your body doesn't get your attention, and your house doesn't get your attention, and your job doesn't get your attention, and the people around you don't get your attention, then higher self will go, okay, here we go, we gotta work in the dream state. Let's give her something really ugly to look at. Because when you wake up, you're gonna go, what does this mean? Because everything is a message. Your home, your car, your body, your friends, your job, it's all messages for you that are showing you how you feel about you. Now it sounds pretty selfish. This whole talk is about you, right? What else is there? If you're not happy, what is the point? Did you really come here to pay bills and die? No. I know that is like the farthest thing from your mind anymore because as collective we are moving out of fear. But in April, we get triggered big time, don't we? What's April? Tax season. So just like PMS for women, April has a type of PMS for this country. Because basically what's happening is, whether you like it or not, you are plugged in to the collective belief systems of collective consciousness. And I'm going to tell you, this time of year, it really gets you pissed off. Because there's a lot of things that are not fair about this energy, isn't it? So as tax season starts to come to a head, you are going to notice that you are feeling all of that energy, especially as empaths. You're feeling collective energy, you're feeling the frustration, you're feeling that it's not fair, you're feeling all this hard work that you're doing is just being given away. So maybe you're not dealing with that individually, but as an empath, you are dealing with that collectively. Just like your husband or spouse has to deal with you with PMS. We all feel it. It's the tension of April. Actually, even in the beginning of the year, as soon as we get those little W-2s in the mail, it starts. And it builds, and it builds, and it builds, and it builds, and it builds. And then we have a little break until the winter holidays come and trigger all the family junk. Right? So what I'm saying to you right now is just be more aware. I'm not saying follow your horoscope every day or do your charts, but it is nice to understand that sometimes when you're feeling crazy, it's not completely you. That you're empathically feeling the tension of the mercury that's coming in. And the frustration and the anger. And we know that 2016 is the year of healing the inner child. And so the child says it's not fair. But what do you keep doing that perpetuates that story? Who do you continue to be even though you don't want to be that? And the way that you know is look at your behavior when no one's watching. Without judgment. Look at who you are when no one is observing you. That's you being a byproduct of you and your subconscious and your unconscious. And when you want to find the purity of yourself, sit down in your chair with your favorite song and become one with you. And go wherever the tone and the sound takes you. Let your whole body move in rhythm with that song to remind you what your soul song is. Because there's a reason why you love certain music. There's a reason why you love certain colors. They are part of you. They are what leads you home. They are the ones that are going to get you there fastest. So when you're having a hard time, sit down, get some beautiful color around you that raises your vibration, and listen to your favorite song. That is it. There is no go to your healer and go take classes and go take workshops And yes, as healers, we all want you to come see us. But at the same time, this is a very independent journey right now that needs to be more about self-reflection than it is about diving in and learning. Because you're actually only supposed to be learning about you right now. This isn't the time to go try to get a new degree unless it's going to show you more of who you are. If that's the way your soul likes to move, then follow that path because you will learn about yourself. But if you're afraid to be alone, if you always have to be doing something, I talked about this last month, the art of being busy. That is a byproduct if I'm afraid to be with myself. You see the people who are always on the phone, no matter what, always have something in their hand, they're afraid to be alone because they don't know who they are. They only know who they are through this friend, and this friend, and this friend, and this friend, and this friend. How about this friend? Because I'm going to tell you, if you do not start looking in, your life is going to become hell on the outside. Because this is a year of manifestation. So everything is happening faster and bigger and with more force because we're stubborn and we need to get our attention. As far as galactically, what's happening right now is we're integrating. We're integrating all this beautiful new energy that we have access to, and the energy is the purity of unconditional love. Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it, that's what it is. It is integrating that unconditional value within you that you've always had, that you just displaced it and got lost in the matrix for a while, like we all have. We're ready to put on our wings and fly. So, if you're having intense dreams, start writing them down and check in with yourself. Ask yourself, how does it feel when I wake up? If you're highly medicated, I'm going to tell you right now, your dream states are going to be the best way for your soul to communicate to you. Because that's when you are free. If you're not meditating, I would suggest learning how to do that, getting on a mind fit, doing something, because meditation is the separation between you and your stories. It gets you out of your story so that you can be you for a little while. And so your body can get back online with its original blueprint. Manifestation, fasting, these are two ways. Meditation will lead to greater manifestations quicker. Get everything out and just be you. Because I'm going to tell you, we talked a little bit 2 months ago about disclosure. Disclosure is for some people is very real. It's very present. I work with ET energies all the time in my meditation. So to me, it's not something that we're waiting on. It's something for you're waiting on. It's something that you're waiting on. Because you only have one cup. And if it's filled all the way to the top with belief systems, you don't have space for anything new. You've got to start pulling things out that you don't want anymore. It's kind of like I've been doing a ton of house clearings lately, and the reason why is not so that I can ghost hunt. It's actually so I can find the hot spots in your house where all of your arguments are, and where all of your frustrations are. Because you know what? Energy is a real thing, and thoughts are a real thing, and your frustrations gather in certain parts of your home. All of that tension that you walk in and you don't say but you feel, it's somewhere in your house. So that's actually what I've been doing is I've been going into people's houses and I have basically been showing them where their hot spots are and showing them the vibration of their home, because your home is an extension of you. Your home is not that different than your body. And when you neglect it and you don't release old energy and emotions out of it, your home can feel very overwhelming and you can feel no motivation and you can feel trapped, just like you can in your own body. So it's really important for you to right now clear your space, clear your body. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that is getting us stuck right now on the planet is white sugar. White sugar to an empath and an indigo is pretty darn toxic. And it's usually something that we crave when we're bleeding our energy out for other people. As an empath, we're constantly giving energy and power away because people need it. And so we don't know how to get it back, so we will crave white sugar. Processed foods, right? These are all things that really crash and lower your vibration. And the reason why I'm sharing this right now is because the whole idea for April is for you to basically get best buds, BFFs with your higher self. And you cannot become best buds with your higher self if your body is in a low vibration. If your home is in a low vibration. And slap a crappy job on that, you're not really going to be with you very much. You're going to be with a small, childlike version of yourself that society has formed for you. And all of those belief systems and all those fears and all of those worries are going to keep recycling in your mind because that's what you're a vibrational match to. You are just one big magnet, and where you focus is what you get. So I want to jump into questions because I know that you have a lot of questions. I feel them every month, and very rarely do you ask. So, who would like to ask a question? Yeah?
What's the difference between letting go and giving up?
Not much. Perspective. Giving up could have an association of a fail, right? Letting go could be, you know, I don't really know how all this works. I'm going to let go and see if I can get some guidance. Sometimes when we have that aspect of I give up, the ego can make that feel negative, like you're a failure. But I promise you, every time you ever give up, you win. Because when you let go, you open yourself up for bigger and brighter and purer information than you have access to before. Because the only thing that you have access to in your lower self is who you've been. So you will keep making choices based on who you've been, even though you want so much to be something bigger than you. Did that answer your question? Anyone else? Come on, guys. Live Facebook here. Yes?
I'm in a place where I am channeling me strongly. I find that I'm having lots of conversations with myself and my guides, who are all me as well. Sometimes they speak too fast. Is it practice?
Speak too fast?
Yeah, they speak too fast. I speak too fast to myself. Like I don't catch all the words, or I have to ask things like, just spell that word.
Is that normal? Yeah. Because you have to realize that energy that's coming in is a lot bigger than what we're used to. So it's about acclimating your system to the information. I will tell you, about a week before I do this channeling, I get bombarded with thoughts and big chunks of information. And the way that I've come to feel safe with it is I just realize whatever I remember is what I need. Okay? So whatever I remember is what I need. I might make some notes to myself, and then sometimes I'll read them back and they don't make sense. So I just hold whatever is relevant for me in the moment, and the rest gets basically integrated into my energy field for later, like it's planting seeds. Yes?
How do I know the difference between my ego and me channeling myself?
One will feel good, one will feel bad. So one will feel big and expansive, one will feel small and contracting. Okay? And I think we talked about that last month, the difference between joy and an urge. So, because I know that a lot of times addiction can feel like joy. Right? It's like you get home, you're exhausted, and the thing that could bring you the most joy right now is turning that TV on. Because that's a form of an addiction for you. It's a way for you to check out. And that could be like the best exciting thing that you could do in the moment. But I'm going to ask you right there, who are you checking out from? You. Maybe you really need a nap. Maybe you need to go listen to some music. Maybe you need to journal. But that feels overwhelming because you've just bled out your energy all day long, giving it away to something that's not joyful. So when you feel something that feels really exciting, ask yourself this: is this going to expand my life or contract my life? Is this choice that I'm making going to expand my life or contract my life? Because you will know whether ego's choosing that or higher self is choosing that based in what you're going to create as a result of that. For me, food was my addiction my whole life. It kept me safe in my bubble, literally. And when I would get nervous and scared or worried or excited or wanted to celebrate, food was the first thing that I wanted to go to because that was my addiction. And so I had to start sitting with myself, asking myself, is this going to expand me or contract me? I mean, physically it's going to expand me, but emotionally, right? It's actually going to make me smaller because I'm going to feel bad in my body. I'm going to feel insecure in my body. My vibration's going to drop. And I'm not going to be the bigness of me, and then tomorrow I have to start all over. Aren't you tired of starting all over tomorrow? Are you tired of waiting for Monday to get back on your plan? How about instead of choosing the addiction, start choosing you? And dive into why the addiction keeps getting your love and attention. We do a lot of addiction work in this space, and the reason why is when I opened Transcendence, I wanted to make this big spiritual place for people to come and be spiritual, and what I realized is what people needed someone to hold their hands while they dive down deep into hell. They needed to dive down deep into the shadows of themselves and the hell of themselves and feel safe and not judged for it. And that's what Transcendence has become. It's become a place of basically alchemy. It's a place that no matter what you've been or who you've been or what you were, you are so welcome here. You fit right in with us because you know what? You're asking for help, and sometimes someone else, until you can trust higher self and trust you can be more of who you are, you need someone to be that blind spot for you. That's why we're training coaches and we're getting people ready to take it to the next level, because as people move into the light, they have to know how to heal their darkness. You will not ascend until you fully, completely look in the mirror and say, I love you, even though. I love you because you're here. Question? Ashley?
You mentioned MindFit. Can you expand upon that a little bit? For anybody
MindFit is just a meditation device we use here at Transcendence. The relevance of it, it's not something I'm endorsing as far as one specific device. It's kind of like 1,000 years ago we used fire to cook food, right? Now we use an oven. So meditation is the same way. Now we have a device for it. It puts our brain into a meditative state between 3 and 7 minutes, depending on how active your mind is. And it gets you out of your own way. It calms down the nervous system, takes your body out of fight or flight. And as your body moves out of fight or flight, you are allowed and able to download a new program. Because I will tell you, if you're in survival mode, you're not learning anything new, ever. If you're in survival mode, you're not learning. Because your body is saying, we don't need anything new, we've got to survive here. So as you move into like that healing space within your body, now you can accept a lot more information, and that's what the MindFit is doing for us here. Is we are seeing 60, 75% faster results with people who are basically getting out of their own way and healing themselves. And I'm going to tell you, there's nothing greater than saying, I did that. I did that. I didn't go to a healer and do that. I did that. I put the device on, I said yes to me, and I got out of my way for 29 minutes, and when I come back, I feel relaxed, rejuvenated, and I'm thinking clearly now. Because if you have that type of mind that won't shut off, this process is going to be a lot harder for you in the coming months. You've got to be able to turn yourself off. Turn your stories off. Turn your mind off. Because the magic that was in your DNA that's ready to open up can't come up if you're stuck in your survival instinct. You're going to channel all of your lower ancestries, your negative ancestral line. And you won't be able to channel the information that's in the quantum field that's waiting for you to become the master, your psychic inheritance. Did that answer your question, Ashley?
Thank you.
Well, my question was kind of the same line,
Mm-hmm.
but for people that are new to this, why should they meditate, and what's the best simplified way to do that?
Well, they should meditate for the very reason of unplugging. Okay? The thing that ego does in front of the TV, meditation does for the soul. So it gets you out of your own stories and allows the body to take over its initial command of thrive, and your immune system starts kicking on and working, and your stories stop, and everything calms down, and the big version of you can now step in and start giving you more guided information. Because I'm going to tell you, every ounce of information that I've ever gotten has come from meditation. And I don't do a sit down and completely still my mind, because it is impossible to completely still your mind. I like it when I give my mind a job so I can distract it, so that I can move into that higher guidance. So guided meditations, it gives your mind a job, it takes you on a journey so that your body can move into that meditative state. Mind Fit, right? It's going to be tone, sound, lights, affirmations, hypnotherapy basically. That's going to get you out of your own way, because if you just try to sit there with a mind that's running 1,000,000 miles an hour and you try to not think, that will last about 2 minutes. So you want to start slow, and you want to really start building into that guided journey. Give your mind a job, make your mind feel like it's all good for you, because it's a problem solver. And if there's no problem to solve, it will freak out. It will create problems for you. So why we should do it is because we need to take a break from ourselves. Aren't you sick of yourself sometimes? Do you get sick of yourself? Well, that's because you meditate. So it just gives you that space. Like, let me ask you, who are you when you're not thinking? Who are you? Everything. And nothing. All at the same time. And when your body starts to experience that meditative state, it stops playing the recordings of the past. Because the only reason that your body keeps playing the recordings of the past is because it doesn't feel safe. Because your past wasn't safe. And it's got to remind you that you're still not safe until you give it a different command. And as soon as you start to give your body a different command, then all of a sudden you can show up differently. Because you know what? This is so much more a body game than you have any idea. Your soul doesn't need any work. The body has been so programmed by everything that you've been through that the only way to get space between what's real and what's not real is to separate yourself from your body. Why do you think we sleep? Meditation is something that you can do during your active day that says, I'm intentionally stopping my stories right now. And I'm going to tell you, that's a form of self-love. Anytime that you can say, I choose me, I'm going to listen to me, even if I make a mistake and I start listening to my gut, your gut's never wrong, is it? There's a reason why 75% of your immune system is in your gut. Does that make sense? Questions? Yeah, Rex?
Are soul and higher self the same thing?
Well, higher self is a bigger version of you that's kind of on the other side of the veil. Your higher self is on the other side of the veil, kind of directing you at every go. And the soul is even the bigger version of that. And then there's an oversoul, so that could get complicated discussion. But as far as the soul, we're all basically connected in one big giant soul, and then there's aspects of ourselves, kind of like fractal parts. And the soul is kind of like the collective of all of your experiences that are happening, because believe it or not, you are not just you sitting in that chair. There's many different versions of you all over the universe, having very unique experiences, and you think that you're all you've got. So the higher self is the version of you that will never drop below joy. It will never go into your pity party. The higher self will never, ever, ever go into a low vibration, because it's not the frequency of. That's the ego's job. The ego's job is to play with you when you're in the lower realms. So imagine that I am playing a video game and my archetype character is inside the TV. Imagine the TV is planet Earth and my archetype is playing in there, and I am holding the joystick. I am higher self. But you know what happens is we get lost in the game and we forget we're connected, and we start going, hey, where am I supposed to go? To a different character. Who am I? We start talking to different characters in the game instead of listening to our own guidance and saying, which way do I go next? That feels good. Because how that system works is through feeling. I feel good, I'm going to move forward. When I start to lose connection with my higher self, which usually happens in the first 7 years, and then we perpetuate that out, and we get more disconnected and more disconnected and more disconnected, we're just playing this archetype inside the TV, asking all these different characters, who am I? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to take care of myself? I have to work a job, right? And all you have to do is move back into that connection of higher self and be guided. I know you've all felt those moments where you just felt really, really guided and it all worked out divinely. Because in the end, it all works out divinely anyways, even if you struggle.
So, ego, the way I understand it, ego was what protected you, but it's still playing that game, protecting you, even though that protection isn't the type you need anymore. Now, is ego, so it protected the child. That's what I'm understanding. Is it, now is it fighting against the child because it's not letting the child
Ego
free?
fights against everything.
What's that?
Ego fights against everything. It's like, so basically my definition of ego is just a wounded child. The wounded child that's within you, that's still in the tantrum, that's still running the old programs, that's still lost on the timeline. And that's why we do so much timeline work, because basically the real construction of ego as far as the third dimensional game was just to help you stay feeling separate. That was the ego's job. You have a body, and while you're in this body, you're going to think that you're separate from everyone else. That's its job. It's also its job to focus on what is, because if you were focused on the ethers, you wouldn't get anything done. So its original intention was just focus on what is and feel separate. And then we started to give it way too much power, because every time we put a piece of ourselves away because that wasn't lovable or no one liked that part of ourselves, we gave the ego all these different personalities. And now the ego is one big, basically decompartmentalized version of you that has been lost. And we have allowed it to run our lives because it's heavy and it feels alone and it feels like no one understands it. Because there's aspects of you that don't feel understood. There's aspects of you that feel rejected and abandoned and not seen and not heard and not loved. And the ego is holding all of those memories for you to remind you, especially when you're ready to move forward, of who you've been. So the thing is that's exactly why right now we want to love the ego just like it is a little wounded child. Do you know that there's no bad people? There's just wounded people. And we learned about this in life coaching certification last week, about the depths of the wounds and how far down they can become, to the fact that you could so lose yourself that you could actually hurt another human being. That is so far out of soul's reality to hurt another, that when any time someone hurts someone else, it is from a place of being so separate from higher self that it becomes a power struggle. I need to hurt you so that I can be well. Does that make sense? We'll go through it more in class, but everybody has a different version of ego. I like to keep things really simple, because if you make your ego your enemy, you are going to really struggle on this journey.
So how do you get ego to want to process stuff? I understand that ego doesn't want to process stuff.
We love it.
Okay. So
The
then
only
it'll get
way
on board
to heal
with us?
ego is to love it.
So it'll get on board with us, or?
Well, it will go back to its original job. It will go back to the original expression of what we came here to learn. Because you know what? We don't want to feel like we're exactly like everyone else. We like this illusion of feeling somewhat separate, because it allows us to move into that unlimited space of our own individual power until we transcend back into the collective power. We like that aspect. That's why we chose to come to this type of planet. That will go back to its original work, which is not to destroy you, but to allow you to feel separate. That's all that its job originally was, and we have given it way too much power. The separation has caused all of this victim energy to move into our field, and then we feel really lost and separate from even our own higher self. We feel detached from our guidance system. We feel detached from the ability to trust our intuition. And when you don't trust your intuition, then you have to ask everybody else for the navigational points of how to get to where you're going. When only you really know where you're going. Donna, what was your question?
Mine was about exercise, because you know the beliefs are that you have to exercise in order to be healthy, and I'm trying to do away with the whole beliefs. And
how's that going for you?
It's fine for me. So I'm wondering what your input is on it.
Well, you have to honor collective belief. Okay? So you have to realize is that until you remove yourself from the matrix of the 3D, you are still plugged into 3D, which means I still believe in the 3D rule constructs. Okay? Just like we're believing in gravity right now, and we're believing in that we're separate, and we're believing that we need food, and we're believing all of these things because it's part of the game. But something like exercise was a belief system that it was actually a very, very good tool to release old emotional crap. Okay? So moving your body, it actually makes your mind have to work less. Because your body's burning a huge amount of energy all the time, and if the body's not moving, you're going to think more. Okay? So what you can do is you can use your body as exercise as a release system, but you don't have to exercise in the old paradigm. You just have to wiggle more. You want to move your body in a way that is your soul song. So whether that be dance or something like that, that's still exercise, because the definition of exercise has that negative connotation, like I gotta go to the gym and I gotta do this and it doesn't feel good, and that can trigger my inner child of all the times I had to go and do what I didn't want to do. Instead say, how could I wiggle my body to release old energy and to move my oxygen flow and turn on my lymphatic system, because your lymphatic system doesn't move unless you move. Okay? And move and wiggle in a way that represents who I am. Maybe that's something that you're going to find through meditation. Whether it be belly dancing or just yoga or some sort of expression that puts you in connection and communication with your body. Because that's actually what exercise can do, is it can put you back into communication with your own system. Because I'm going to tell you, it's really easy to shut all this down and become this. And you can go out anywhere in the world and watch that happening. All that's happening is here. And their minds are moving so fast. I'm going to tell you that the people that I've looked out at that are the sickest have the fastest overactive minds. And they're not getting the message. Did that help?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a question. You said that we have different versions of ourselves, all over the universe. Do we have any here?
Yes.
Do we run into, is it possible that we run into someone sometime and we butt heads with them?
Well, there's versions of you right now that are doing better than you, and there's versions of you that are not doing as good as you. And where you're vibrating and how you're feeling right now brings you more into alignment with those aspects of yourself.
So, I'm supposed to do better and worse, or I don't
Always feel better.
Oh.
And the thing is it doesn't matter if there's a version of you in Africa right now. What matters is you. Because again, I'm going to tell you that a lot of times when people give up alcohol, then they jump into church. And church can be the new form of alcohol, right? So it's really easy for me to now go, I want to meet this version of myself somewhere so far away. And because it's a beautiful distraction, just like seeing someone in need and wanting to call them and making sure they're okay and taking all kinds of care of them. Right now, you chose this perspective. And this perspective is the only thing that needs your focus. And as you do better, all of you do better. Because you're all connected into one same theme. And that theme is usually the theme that you all come in with to experience it in different perspectives. It's like in the video game, there's lots of different versions of you, but you all have a different mission with the same theme. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So all that matters is you doing the best that you can do for you, and then everything, just like us, You do better, Al. We all do better. I do better. Everyone does better. Because it's the pebble effect. As I raise my vibration, it gives someone else permission to raise their vibration. When you raise your vibration, you inspire me to raise my vibration. When you lower your vibration, it inspires me to lower my vibration. Because this is always happening through inspiration and observation. You walk into a space with negative energy, what do you become? Or resistant to it, and you don't feel good. Because the power of influence is all we have. And there is one more key point of why we need to go within. It's nice to just feel your energy for a while than feeling everyone's energy. And I'm not saying don't have relationships, but for your teaching, for your solitude, for your meditation, you need to be the guru. You need to be that person. And through meditation, I've connected with different aspects of myself so I know they're there. Parallel realities. Right? When you learn to remote view, you can, which we're going to learn in class. Yeah. Anybody else have questions? Yes?
I have 2 questions. One question is, we're talking about Mars and harnessing the power. I was wondering if you could give some advice or steps towards helping harness that power.
Well, if it's in if Mars is in retrograde, and we're going to be having all this power within us, how do we harness it? Is that your question? Mm-hmm. Well, you won't really need to harness it because you're going to feel it. And you're either going to be in resistance of it, or you're going to be like, yes, this is my extra kick. Because how clean does your house get when you're frustrated? Right? So use this as an opportunity to clean house. Because you're going to have a lot of extra energy this month. We went through 2 weeks of exhaustion and kind of like tiredness. And we're going to be moving in, as we move into this retrograde, we're going to be like all kinds of energy. And if you don't know what to do with that energy, it's going to feel kind of uncomfortable. So this is a great time to basically spring clean your house, spring clean your friends, spring clean your diet, and you'll have the energy and the motivation of, I can't do this anymore. That's what you're going to be presented with, is I just can't do this anymore. I can't eat this way anymore. I can't feel this way anymore. And you'll have that retrograde power to support those decisions, and then you'll be able to have that time that we're in retrograde to practice it. And then as it moves back into alignment, you will be that more empowered version of yourself. Because, you can look at Mars as really negative too. It's that kind of control factor. It's that dominating factor. But use it as a way to take control and dominate what it is that you choose, because we just moved into a new moon, which means you can have anything you want. Anything you want. You are a magnet. And what you're focused on is what's going to happen. And so if you're focused on joy and excitement and passion and ecstasy, and all of a sudden you manifest something icky, go, yeah, this is something that was in my way. I'm going to dive into gratitude for it. I'm going to so love that it's happening right now. And I'm going to move into service, because if I move into service, and the service could be me. I could be servicing myself as far as taking good care of myself, meditating. That's a form of service. Right? And then whatever inspired action follows that, oh, I'm going to go volunteer. I'm going to go donate all this stuff I've been hoarding in my house that I'm holding on to, and I'm going to go donate that to someone who really needs those things. That's going to raise your vibration so fast, but the name of the game is to keep your vibration high no matter what's happening. Find the appreciation in the struggle. Find the gratitude for what you've manifested, good, bad, or ugly. And then move into service, move into service. And you'll just move through this year with such grace. People go, oh, I'm struggling. You'll be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's just easy. But you've got to basically learn how to play life way differently than you played. Because as you move into this high vibrational place and someone triggers you, it's really going to annoy you at this point. Because you've been so high. So when you get triggered, you're going to be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't be around this type of people anymore. That's you taking your power back. I can't be in these relationships anymore. That's you taking your power back. I can't be sick anymore. So how can I find gratitude for my body problem? Well, if I manifest a disease, There is a reason why my soul manifested that disease. It is serving me somehow. So then if I can go into gratitude with myself and say, what could you be showing me? Oh, I know. I'm supposed to be here to learn unconditional love. So I'm supposed to love myself with this disease. I'm supposed to love myself in spite of this disease. I'm going to actually fall in love with the disease. And I'm going to love on it, and I'm going to nurture it, and I'm going to soothe it, and I'm not going to be afraid of it, because if I chose it, there was a reason why I chose it. And then what happens is it starts to transcend, because that's the alchemy process, and then you don't have the disease anymore. Isn't that always how manifestation works? As soon as you get what you want, you get like 3 of them. So you start to get all this new opportunity and all this new energy, because I'm going to tell you, your body was designed to heal itself. Any problem. And there's DNA that you can activate even if you wanted to change the way you looked. Did you know that? If you've studied epigenetics, you know that you can change anything about yourself, but you can't change anything until you love it. You have to fall in love with your disease. Because you keep resisting it and you keep being afraid of it, it's going to keep manifesting. Because fear manifests and fear transcends. I'm sorry, love transcends. Does that make sense? Questions? Anything, yes.
Just one last question. Yeah, you also talked about it separating from the soul and how that openness or to lead to a tendency to maybe possibly hurt others. Can you talk about that a little more?
When we separate from our soul, which we never possibly can do, but we can have a experience that we are separate from our soul. So a perfect example of this is if someone was highly abused in childhood, they're going to have an aberrated perspective of what love is. They're not going to understand what that means. And they're going to move away from their natural essence, which is love. And the opposite of that is power. So in order to feel safe in their position, they've got to assert their power. Okay? And so when we start hurting other people, it's because we're trying to find our power because we've disconnected from love. And that's anyone who hurts another person. Anyone who's arrogant is a wounded child underneath that basically wants their mom. Anyone that's abusing you has been abused. Okay? Hurt people hurt people. It's the cycle of it, because the thing is, as soon as the ego learns how to do it, it actually gets empowered by it, because the ego gets to feel very big. The ego is the mortal version of you. The soul is the immortal version of you. The ego has no patience. You have endless patience. So if you're feeling like your patience is really being tried right now and it's making your skin crawl, that's not you. That's when you would want to check out from yourself and go into a meditative state and just be. Does that make sense? So when we disconnect from ourselves, it's only experiences that I am not loved. I am not loved. And then we try to find that power, kind of like battery operated, through taking our power over other people instead of plugging back into love. Anybody else? Yes?
Where does the animal kingdom fit into all of this?
They are the great reminder of how it's done. Especially the ones that walk side by side with you in your homes. They are the unconditional love of just, this is who we are and this is how we are. Your animals do the craziest things, right? And you love them unconditionally, hopefully. They love you unconditionally, no matter what you do to them. Now the ones that are out in the world, right, they are holding space. They are holding very, very key points of frequency within their bodies. They are in complete alignment with Mother Earth. So they are having their birth and death experiences over and over and over again, which is what you're doing a lot, which you probably had a birth and a rebirth and a death experience probably 15 times in the last 6 years. And the animal kingdom is just putting it into the quantum field as a reminder of this is how it's done. This is how it's done. There's no judgment in it. And I'm going to tell you too, our animal kingdom also represents a lot of different alien races all over the universe. The mosquitoes you see on this planet are much bigger on another planet. Okay? Our whales and our dolphins have gracefully come from their home to be here to hold space for us. The songs that they sing are tone and sounds that remind us of home. They're holding space. Our elephants are holding space and the memory of unconditional love. So the bigger the animal on the planet, the bigger their purpose. There were some dinosaurs that actually represented the psychic foundation of the planet, the psychic memory of the planet. Your cats represent a lack of resistance. They're not resisting anything, especially you. Your dogs are your unconditional loving source. Your birds are your reminder of freedom. Okay, does this make sense? And your fish remind you that there's a whole world outside of you that lives right with you, that you have no understanding of. And the ones that you can't see, those are the really fun ones, will be shown to you when you lower fear within your own being. As your fear starts to drop and you start to move out of survival, you will start to notice things around you that have always been there that you couldn't see yet. And that's when it gets really fun. Did that answer your question? 2 more. Katie.
Okay, so I'm going through a lot of growth right now, and I keep trying to meditate, but what's weird is I feel like I have this belief that I will get my information in meditation, but I go into meditation and it's like I'm just hanging out.
Yeah.
So when I'm not in meditation is when I tend to get my stuff.
Beautiful.
But I have the busy mind too.
That's okay.
So, will stuff come to me in meditation?
Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe
so,
your meditation is just space. Maybe it's stillness for you. Maybe that's how your soul speaks to you, is get your mind rested, and then as you're moving in your day-to-day life, your information can come, because it comes to me that way too. Things start to make sense in my life as I'm living it. Have you noticed that? You meditate and then all of a sudden you start living the life and things start to click into place. That's good too. You won't always get downloads. Sometimes your meditation is just about feeling part of all. Feeling connected, letting the energy move through you, feeling the little stuff that's going on around you. It's just being present and not having to be somewhere. You know what I mean? It's about you taking a break from you and having the patience to do it. Because we all came here to learn patience. That was one of all of our lessons. Because when we don't have this physical body, there's no time and there's no space and there's no waiting. Ever. And the way that you can experience what home feels like is just go into your imagination. Right now I could ask you to close your eyes and just elevate above the planet and look down at Earth from your imagination, and it would be 1 second. You could all do it. You could go anywhere, and that's really who you are, is when you're driving where you're heading and thinking and feeling and focusing. Everything else is stories playing over and over again. And if you choose to believe those stories, then you'll repeat the past. That's just physics. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, and I was also wondering, I had heard if you actually hear voices, that's not necessarily good.
So I don't believe in good or bad.
Or higher information, it's not necessarily coming from...
Here's the thing. You might hear something, you might sense something, you might feel something. Thoughts might start popping into your head. The only thing that matters is how it feels. Because there is no good or bad of how the energy gets to you, because the way your soul signature is built, you might not hear, you might feel. So if you start hearing and someone tells you that that's bad, that's your first test of what I just talked about an hour ago, which is, who are you listening to? Because I'm going to tell you, if you get some information and it feels good, that's good. If you get some information and it feels kind of egoic, you might want to sit with that and decide whether or not you want to receive that. But I promise you, if you're receiving channeling from an egoic source or a lower dimensional source, your baseline frequency has to be in fear. Because you can't pick up the radio station of love if you're in fear. You can't pick up higher self's information if you're freaked out and worried in survival mode. You've got to move out of that. Even if you're just pretending in your mind, The brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and real, and it will go anywhere you take it, anytime you want. You're all breathing right now, you're all digesting right now, your hearts are all beating right now. Is that your effort? No. But you can also take back your breath. Right now, take a deep breath. You just took control. And at any given moment, you can take control of your mind. You've got to be more present in what you're thinking, and your vibration needs to be the most important thing in your entire universe. Where am I vibrating? Where am I vibrating? What am I thinking about? What am I feeling? You've got to be here in order for you to know what you're feeling. Because life is so intoxicating. If you're somewhere else, you're not checked in how you feel, and you will manifest the version of where your vibration is to let you know where you are. So if you manifest something bad, you go, well, hello, I've been in the low vibration. Now I need to back myself up, and I need to focus, I need to be deliberate, I need to be conscious. And I'm going to tell you, if it keeps feeling bad, why are you doing it? You know why? Because you don't know how to not do it. This is the part where we're learning how to walk. And this is the part where it's okay that everything's not perfect. And it's okay that you're still partly broken and wounded. And you're still suffering a little bit. But there's aspects of you that have come so far. And I'm going to tell you right now, the ego is always taking score. We've got so much further to go. We haven't done this. We haven't done this. And I'm going to tell you, the soul takes stock. The soul looks at us and says, look at how far we've come. Look at what we have to work with. It's like a chef going into a kitchen that maybe not be completely filled to the brim of what it needs, but it can make you a beautiful meal. All your soul needs is exactly what's happening right now in your life to make perfection and grace. That's it. Everything that's in your life right now is all your soul needs. It doesn't need anything outside of that. And your ego will never be okay with what is. Ever. It will always want more. It will always need more. So that help you? Anybody else? We'll go one more. Mary? Two more.
So I've noticed lately with my clients, I've been, like when they've been sharing with me, I've, instead of like reframing the situation like I kind of had been doing, and it was just coming really easily, I've been kind of going in muck with them, like, oh my god, that is terrible, like going into victim mode with them.
Yeah? How's that feel?
Well, it sucks. I mean, you know, you notice what you're noticing, but I was still like in it and like just what's the best way to, when you notice that, to get out of it?
When you finally notice that you're going down with them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the things is you could sit in meditation before you go to work and you could ask for different clients. And then you could love yourself enough to vibrate to align with better clients that are excited and joyful, but you can also say nothing. When you don't know what to say nothing. Because you know what? The ego can't stand silence, and they will stop talking.
I have done that.
And that gives you the opportunity to go within and say, do I want to keep doing this person's hair anymore? Because this isn't really serving me. But until you get space, right? You don't have to show up to every conversation you're invited to. You're allowed to say no without an explanation. Did you know that? Have you ever tried that? No. Oh my gosh, I so want to tell you why no. How about just no? And you know what you could say? I'm working on the self-love thing right now. And part of my self-love journey is not talking about negative things. So what's going right in your life this week? Let's talk about that. What have you done this week that was super cool? Let me show you a story of what my little kid was doing this week.
I did finally say, like, what can you control right now?
Yeah, but that can also feel very disempowering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the greatest way to stop ego is to say, I'm working on something. So if my husband says something to me, I'll say, well, I'm working on something right now, and that's why I'm being quiet. So he doesn't think that I'm doing it to hurt him, right? And I'm quiet a lot. So it's kind of like you choosing you in the moment where you have the opportunity to go down into the ego, because the ego feels good for about 5 minutes. I know what gossip feels like. It's fun until it's not. So your best opportunity is to let all of your clients know what you're personally working on and allow them to go on the journey with you. Do you know that you will turn your hairdressing clients into life coaching students? Because basically, instead of giving them the problems that they came in to talk about, is you're saying, well, I choose me, I choose self-love. What's going right in your life? I'm trying to do this thing where I look at all the things that are going right instead of the things that are going wrong. Is that helpful? Because you don't control anything except your choices.
I have one more question.
One.
So this morning I woke up and I was kind of halfway down to sleep. My third eye saw colors.
Good.
And I heard in rainbows of colors they come. Do you have any insight?
What does it mean to you?
Just new kids being born into the world.
There you go. See how smart you are? And you didn't need me to say that. You know, all you needed me for was a place to ask your question. I'm just going to hold a mirror for you, and your answer is the right answer. And you notice how they're working with you in your dream state. So get out of your stories during the day so they don't have to only work with you on your dream state. Be with them during the day. And all you have to do is wake up in the morning and say, I choose self-love. I choose to focus on what's going right in my life instead of what's going on wrong. I choose to be surrounded by people who are going to influence me in a positive way and love me unconditionally. And I am going to choose to work on letting go of the relationships that no longer serve me. And even if that's family. You're allowed to redefine your relationships with your biological family. You're allowed to do that. I didn't say you have to completely cut them off. But you need to redefine it so that you aren't in a power struggle with them or trying to get love from them. You are no longer 5 years old. You need to say to them, hey guys, I know this family loves to talk about negative stuff around the dinner table. That's awesome, but I'm working on self-love. So what's going right in everyone's life? Two things will happen. Everyone will get really uncomfortable, which says, well, I'm going to go be weird in the other room. Thanks. See how easy that is? And it's not done through stomping your foot and saying, how come I'm not accepted in this family? How come you can't love me? How come you can't see who I am? That's reinforcing the problem. Because you know what? They will give you 100 reasons why you're a loser. I know my family could tomorrow. If I called them right now, they would tell all of you. I choose me. And I can say, you know what? I love my family, but I'm going to limit how many dinners I go to. I'm going to pick the holidays where I can get really drunk. Just kidding. Instead of going over every Sunday, right? Does anybody have any more questions? Yeah.
Jessica, you're about to, I think, cut off on the live stream. Oh,
it's
you did. But
now we can really talk.
We have one question still from the live stream, and Ashley's going to ask that.
Well, you kind of answered it already, but Gail was saying it's hard to hold the vibration when you are around loved ones that are in a low vibration often, especially during hard circumstances. How can we keep at a high vibration daily? Some advice to make it easier to do. I know my loved ones that I have around me are supposed to be in my life, and I want them there. But she's just asking for...
How to raise your vibration in a low vibrational situation.
Yes, and I'm actually going to video so we can have the answer.
So how to raise your vibration in a low vibrational circumstances and situation. Delusion. Go into your imagination. Because you know what? You could be in a jail cell, and guess what you still have? You still have your imagination. And any opportunity, you could be in a horrible, horrible place in the physical realm, and in your mind, you have the opportunity to go anywhere you choose. So you are never stuck in the vibration of where you're physically represented. I could be in a horrible situation and go into, sit on the best beach in the world in my mind, and I could breathe that into my body. I'm going to give you a secret of biochemistry. If you want to teach your body something new, imagine it, feel it, and breathe it into your body. Go to the beach in your mind, feel the sand, smell the ocean, hear the sounds. Breathe all the way into your belly. Download the information to the whole system. Because the brain got to experience it, but the rest of the body didn't. So if I imagine something and breathe it in, it is telling every single cell of my body that exact story. And now my nervous system can calm down. And I can say, you know what, I would really like to be on this beach more. And now I'm starting manifestation. I've been here for 68 seconds. It's in the 4th dimension, percolating. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. And then all of a sudden, basically, when I come back, my situation is okay. I can keep doing this for another 2.5 weeks. Because it only takes you 1 moon cycle to manifest anything if you can hold that feeling. Now, I'm not saying hold the feeling of the beach. How do I hold the feeling of the beach? I can breathe it into my body, and then I can go be of service. While I'm in my bad situation, I can start packing my room. I can start donating. If I want out of my living situation, I'm going to start getting rid of anything that I'm not taking with me. I'm going to start donating, and I'm going to start volunteering every minute that I can outside of my negative situation, so that now manifestation is going to happen faster. And I promise you, if you did this for about 3.5 days, something would shift. Either your family would start behaving differently, or you would be in another opportunity. Because you keep perpetuating the crisis. This is horrible, oh my gosh, but I love them so much, I can't leave them. You're in control. And your vibration affects them vibration. If you can walk into a negative space and someone is negative and all of a sudden you feel negative, couldn't you walk into a room with a high vibration and create someone else to feel a high vibration? That's your work right there. Is you hold the vibration and you don't go down just because someone else is down. And if you can't look around and feel up, go inside your head, because you know what? That's what children do. That's why, have you noticed, have you ever watched a little kid walk around not just in extreme ecstasy and joy when they're in their imagination? They could be in a doctor's office with horrible, horrible sick kids around them, heart vibration, and they're playing, and they're being butterflies, and you know what? That's not happening, is it? But it is for them. So you need to look crazy for a while, right? Jump around the room as a unicorn, whatever. And become who you need to be, and raise the vibration of your space. Do you know that's mastery? I used to, as an empath, go, oh, I don't want to go to that party, or I don't want to go to that place, or, you know, introvert, and be like, oh, I'm so introverted. And I thought, you know, what if I brought my vibration to the party? What if I brought my stuff to the party instead of knowing that I'm going to go and collect everybody else's stuff? And so now I have to do that because I am very, very, very much a natural introvert. So when I walk into the room, I go, okay, I'm not taking all your stuff, I'm giving you mine. I literally have to set that intention every single time. Otherwise, I would feel everything you're going through, and it would be very difficult for me to not feel that with you. I just want to thank you guys for coming, and probably every month I'm going to be able to do more and more like little pre-show things. I would love, I'm just going to throw it out there, I would love to find a musician and do some sort of like song and meditation before we do Second Sundays. So if anybody has any ideas about that, we would love to have some volunteers. Cool. And get with us after and make it really about, you know, developing a kind of a Second Sunday meditation that we can all ground and get here and present and have the music, because I'm going to tell you, music is your secret weapon right now. Go into the music and you will go home immediately. E.T. phone home. Go to your songs. Okay? Thank you guys for coming.